Hello everyone and welcome back to this third part of the coloring in of this little beautiful black skin girl. For her clothing I was inspired by that little card that's at the left of me. I want to do the background in reds, oranges and yellows, and since that little figure on that card was colored in with blue shades, I thought to color in the outfit of my girl in blues too. I'm using the Les Mouches markers, and I think I've chosen pastel blue for her dress. But of course, if you have the same picture and you would like to color with me, you don't have to follow exactly the colors that I'm using. Yeah. And it's the first time that you see her hair totally colored in. It was quite of a job, I can tell you. I could have painted her dress as well, just like I did with her hair, but it has been a while, I think, since I've used the Les Mouches markers. And yeah, before they are drying out or drying up, I want to make good use of them. So far I have a few dried ups, but not that many, thank goodness. So and I was looking here where to color next, and I'm aware that I've made a mistake with her sleeve from her left arm. For us it's the right arm, but it's her left one. But you will see that I've discovered that I don't know if it will be in the second part after this video, or in the part where I will be shading the clothing in, because this marker is just a base layer. I will be adding more depth and details with pencils, and I think it was then that I've noticed that I forgot to color in that sleeve. So here it was a bit of a tricky part, because the alcohol markers can bleed a bit further than the place you are coloring in, and so I had to be a bit careful. It was quite tricky to use or to choose the colors that I wanted to use on her. Blue had to be the main color, but for the other details it was quite tricky. And I'm sorry that I'm not always talking, but yeah, sometimes I'm just out of subject to talk about. And maybe it's nice that it's a silent coloring video from time to time. That's why I'm not adding any music to fill up these silent moments. And I wish that I knew how to do some speed up coloring video, because I think it can be quite boring to see me coloring in all these tiny details. And here I was wondering again what I was looking at, and still I didn't see it. I've colored this picture in a few days ago, and it's only now that I have the time to do my voiceover, because when I was filming, um, there were some episodes of Friends on the telly, and yeah, you would have heard Joey and Chandler instead of me talking, because my husband was at home and he loves Friends. I do too, but yeah. I love my coloring or my coloring books even more than looking at Friends, so I'm really glad that I've discovered this voiceover option. And you see, if I'm coloring in, the blue has another shade than when it's dried up. I really like this color. And in the beginning of my coloring, I could have never imagined using alcohol markers. I just didn't see the need to use them, and the what they could bring me or give me extra. But yeah, once that I bought my alcohol markers in my favorite discount shop Action and tried those out just to test, I was sold. It's fun to fill up large spaces, and that you only have to worry about certain details for shading with your pencil. And some pictures really call for an alcohol marker base sometimes. But in the beginning, I also never was thinking that I should or that I would use different pencil brands together. When I started the page with the Prismacolor, I stayed with Prismacolor. If I started one with my Marco Renoir, for example, I stick to those. And now I mix, and it's super fun. For some details, I use my Prismas. For the other, my Polychromos. For other parts, some budget pencils. It's same with all the other media. Paint, marker, combined with pencils. Yeah, that's freedom, I think. Being able or finally giving in to throw everything on a page that you want. Oh yes, and here I'm making a mistake, and now I'm realizing it. I had to leave that part white, but yeah, the damage was already done, so I decided to color in that bottom part in the blue shade like all the rest of her skirt. So sometimes it's really hard to see a certain picture or a certain detail. And for such large areas, these broad tips, or is this a chisel tip? I don't know the difference between the two. The biggest one of the two. It's very useful. That pink here is super nice with that blue, I think. And now I was thinking what other colors I had to use, because sometimes I see a picture in certain frames that I know a few parts, that I know of a few parts which colors I will be using, but on other details, yeah, they grow whilst coloring. So And because I saw that her hair was fitting that blue so nicely, I thought it would be nice to use another pink color for other details. And now I was really thinking where I wanted to put that pink down. And finally I decided. Now it's looking a bit reddish, but it is definitely pink. I think it will be more visible once it's dried up a little bit. Of course, it's a bit of another shade than her hair is. And why I wasn't using that biggest tip now, I don't know, but and still I'm not noticing that one sleeve is missing. On her already colored in arm, you can already see that it's a pink tone and not a red tone. I hope this video won't be too long and too boring, because I can imagine that it's not always super fun to watch the whole process of coloring in, especially if I can't speed it up. I really don't know how to do it with this editor. I hope it's nice to look at in real time. Now I'm thinking quite a bit again, I think. Yes, I've chosen my yellow color, canary yellow. Of course, for that flame part on her head. And now that I'm thinking of it, is it really nice to watch these kind of videos? I sometimes do, but not many. I prefer whole videos. Of course, it's always fun to see what people get or buy. And Happy Mail video, also like to watch those, and an impression of an art material. But is a color long or yeah, something like I'm doing now, is that nice to look at? I don't know. Sometimes I think it's taking too long, especially if I don't know what to talk about. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you like these kinds of videos. It's a bit difficult to have some ideas for content for the channel. Sometimes I have some ideas, but sometimes I'm really searching for some, and yeah. We're almost finished with most of the details, or with the marker work. I don't remember what I was doing here. I think I've grabbed a bottle of some of my stickles. Yes, here it is. Of course she had to have glitter. So we are giving her some. And stickles are so nice to work with. You can go quite detailed with that little piece. And I think it's about time that this video will end, the first part at least. And then you will see how I color in the background. Yes, I'm seeing my transition template, so we will go straight into the second part. So for the background, it was based on that little card that you've seen earlier. I'm going to use my Albrecht Dürer pencils for the background. And here we have a red one. I can't read anymore what I've used. Deep red, I think it was, for the darkest details. And it was strange. I had a Kuretake brush, and because I went a bit crazy on another page with it, all the hairs were standing in weird angles, so I've opened a new package of a ZigBrush, and it's way better than the one that I was using. So the flow is better, and I can control the pigment better, and it was really nice to experience another way of working with the Durers too. I always had a feeling that I had to learn to work with them still and a lot, but by using that new brush, it's yeah, more natural, and it's easier. I can't explain it in another way. So I'm really happy that that one that I have messed up was so badly messed up that I had to unpack a new one, and yeah, I've enjoyed coloring in with water media more since then. The coloring heaven paper can take water really well. Of course, it's buckling, but if you don't mind, go ahead. Don't use too much water, but it can take some water. Almost done with this coloring in of the background, adding some extra shadings and darker spots for the transition. And I could have used my Inktenses, but I really wanted to work with the Durers again. I really hope you can't always hear me yawning. I had a terrible night. I only slept for an hour or 4 last night because I was constantly awake because I had back pain. And yeah, so I'm beat now. And I can't control my yawning. Okay, girl, stop coloring and start working with that water already. Yes, here we go. So I'm just pushing to get that water flowing, and here we go. It's really way better than the other one. It was really nice working on this background. and it makes your paper really it gives it a really nice sound once it's dried. That's why I love using water on these kind of books and on the Hannah Lynn ones. The crackly paper. Absolutely love it. Of course, if you have the Neo 2s, you can use these two as a background. But for this one I really wanted to grab the Tudors again. And I'm really liking that sunset effect. And if you think that some parts are too light, you can always add some extra color to make it more vivid. Because Albrecht Dürer, once it dries, it's fading out a little bit. But it has no problem to take an extra bit of color. And usually I grab some color straight from the pencil instead of coloring in another part. Sometimes I do, but yeah, it depends. Sometimes I dip straight from the pencil like I'm showing here, and sometimes I color in a bit extra with the pencil on the paper, but this technique works really fine too. And you definitely don't harm the paper as much if it's a bit on the thin side. I've grabbed that red again, I think, for the part on the right side. So as you can see, it's really quite easy to give some extra color. If you're not satisfied with the first layer. that you've put down. You know what? It will be handy for me that you will leave a comment down below saying if it's more nice to just see me starting to color a picture in and then adding the colored in picture, or that you prefer this whole process. I think it's too long and a bit too boring. At least that's my feeling, but maybe I'm mistaken. So please let me know if it's more suitable to have a shorter video with less detail of what I'm doing, or yeah, I would like to know what you prefer. So now it's time to let it all dry. I think we're almost at the end of the video. And then it's time for me to say goodbye. Yes, the end is coming. So I want to thank you very much for watching. Leave a comment below of your preference, and I hope we'll see each other soon. Take care. Bye.